it's really important. Sometimes I have parents say, is it really important that my child goes through the CAS testing? Well, it is very important. It's very, very important. And the reason is because when you're trying to get into high school, if you sometimes if it's between you, if you're trying to get in a magnet school in high school or a special program, they're allowed to look at not only the grades, but also your test scores. So I always strongly recommend that you take the California Standards Test. The other thing too is when we're working with kids, looking at that summative assessment gives us a really good picture of where the student is at. It's a very concrete, comprehensive data for us to know exactly where the students' proficiency levels are. So always take the CAS if you can, and make sure you take the CAS test every year.
Una de las actualizaciones en este momento es de que nuestros estudiantes están tomando el examen estatal CAS. Siempre le preguntan al director, ¿y por qué son estos exámenes importantes? Hay muchas razones. La primera razón es que le ayuda al estudiante a demostrar todo lo que ha aprendido este año. La segunda, otra cosa que sí les ayuda es de que si usted está buscando una escuela secundaria magnet, ellos siempre ven los puntuajes, especialmente cuando van a entrar a un programa que es de estudios avanzados o de superdotados. Otra razón es de que si el niño está que necesita ayuda académica, cuando nosotros recibimos estos resultados, ya para el próximo año, cuando ellos están aquí, eso es para los sexto y séptimo grado estudiantes, nosotros ya sabemos cuáles estudiantes necesitan un poquito más de apoyo o hacer tutoría o intervención. Así que siempre les pedimos de que tomen los exámenes estatales. Nosotros lo hacemos en una forma donde no les da mucho estrés porque lo hacemos durante diferentes periodos del mes, no todos de un solo. Así que también de que vengan a la escuela y no falten si es posible. And we'll just say something like, we try our best to take away the stress that test taking might bring with it by incorporating different incentive programs. We do a lot of activities during the school day. Of course, there's our clubs, and it's also mapped out throughout the school year, like from now till May, so that students are not taking all their tests at once. Some schools make them they'll go directly from their English test to their math test, and we don't do that. We do spread it out.
All right, so do you have anything else that you'd like, an announcement that you'd like to make? Well, you have a whole presentation.
Yeah, I'll do it after.
Okay, all right, Miss Ateni, you're up.
Hi, good morning. Can you share your screen, Ms. Gamora, for the presentation? Hi, good morning. I'm Ms. Karen Etienne, the School Climate Advocate. I'm just here with a little update on school climate. Hola, yo soy Ms. Karen Etienne y estoy aquí para dar una actualización del clima escolar. So I was able to get some funds for our some clubs after school. I had to do a whole grant and application. We were granted around $45,000. So we were able to get 3 programs to come work with our school. One of them was Cooking with Gabby. Cooking with Gabby is coming after school on these 4 dates. And we chose cooking too because cooking is one of our popular clubs after school. And this program comes and brings all the resources that we needed. So this is one of them. And here on Tuesday was our first class. You know, we have a Chef Steve coming in to bring all the ingredients and to teach students about healthy cooking. And they also have the other parts, they have also dance and fitness. So it's half and half, so they learn about health. Este año pude agarrar unos, I don't know how to say grant,
Son fondos que le otorgaron a la escuela como una beca.
Sí, una beca que tuve que llenar una aplicación y nos dieron fondos, nos dieron casi $45,000 para traer estos programas a nuestra escuela para trabajar con los estudiantes. Uno de los programas es Cocinando con Gabby, que va a venir estas 4 fechas. La primera fecha fue este martes. Viene un chef a cocinar con ellos. No solamente cocinan saludable, pero también hacen ejercicios físicos para que los estudiantes puedan aprender el balance sobre comer y saludable y también ejercicio para que tengan una vida más saludable. El otro programa que también agarramos fue Boys to Gentlemen, que va a venir estas dos fechas, mayo 31 y junio 5. Y este programa va a trabajar con algunos de nuestros estudiantes, unos de nuestros niños, ¿verdad? Vamos a tener un grupo que van a trabajar con ellos. Pero también si ustedes quieren que su hijo participe en esto, nos pueden decir. This is another program that we also got with the funds. It's called Boys to Gentlemen. They're going to be coming on May 31st and June 5th. They're going to be working with a specific group of boys, but if you're also interested in if you have a son, you can let us know and they'll be part of this program as well. Y también estamos esperando que nos digan las fechas, pero vamos a tener clases de breakdancing que estamos esperando y van a ser los miércoles y viernes. Ojalá ya nos digan pronto cuando pueden volver a venir para terminar las clases. Our last program was breakdancing. Dancing is very popular here at our school, so we decided to incorporate a different type of dancing, and we're just waiting for our clearance so they could continue coming for the rest of the school year. And today we sent over emails and texts regarding Earth Day. It was actually pretty successful. Even right now during nutrition, we had a bunch of students still coming with their bags. They got a ticket if they brought a bag of recyclables, and they're gonna get popsicles today. So it's a perfect day because it's warm today. También hoy para celebrar el Día de la Tierra, mandamos textos y emails que los estudiantes trajeran bolsas con reciclables. Y hasta ahorita durante el recreo trajeron más bolsas y si traían una bolsa con reciclables, les daban un cupón y van a venir durante el almuerzo y van a agarrar una paleta para hoy. Y ya, lo último es los que viene para estos últimos meses de la escuela. El 5 de mayo vamos a jugar lotería durante el almuerzo. También tenemos el baile para los de octavo grado, el 5 de mayo esa noche de 4 a 6 o 7. Y tenemos el último día de clases que es el junio 9. Just coming up, we're going to play lotería during lunch, 5 de mayo. That day is also our 8th grade formal that evening from 4 to 6:30. And our last day of school is June 9. Okay, muchas gracias por todo. Thank you guys. And if you guys have any questions, you can email me, call me if you have any questions about the new programs that are coming for the rest of the year, or if you guys just have any questions in general. Thank you. Me pueden llamar, me pueden mandar email si tienen preguntas. Estoy aquí para ustedes. Muchas gracias y que tengan buen fin de semana.
Thank you, Karen. Thank you very, very much. All right, Ms. Guevara, you're up.
Thank you, Ms. Karen. Good morning, everybody. So I'm going to just go over again a little bit about what to expect for the 8th grade. And if you remember in January, I talked about the whole cycle of choosing a magnet high school. So by now you should have heard whether you were accepted, declined, or you're on a waiting list. Unfortunately, if you did apply for a magnet high school or specialized program, we don't get any records of that. So even if we went into MICES, we couldn't see who is accepting your child. So if you haven't heard from them, if you haven't checked your dashboard for e-choices, or you haven't heard from the school, I would advise you to call the school as soon as possible and say, hey, I did put in an application and I haven't heard from you. I'd like to know what my status is. And that way they could inform you of what's going on. Now, if you didn't apply, there are still magnet high schools that have programs like openings for their programs. So you might want to reach out to those and then apply for this. Now, remember, not all magnet high schools will offer transportation. So that's the first question you want to ask your coordinator before you complete an e-choices application. So si ustedes aplicaron, si se acuerdan, en enero yo hablé con ustedes sobre las diferentes, lo que es el ser aceptado para las escuelas magnet. Si usted aplicó a una escuela magnet y todavía no ha oído de la escuela, llámeles directamente y pregúnteles si su niño fue aceptado, porque empezamos a hablarle a las familias de los que van a entrar a Irving el 20 de marzo. Así que nosotros, ya las escuelas secundarias también tienen su lista. Si no fueron aceptados o están en lista de espera, todavía hay una posibilidad que entren. Pero si quieren aplicar a otras escuelas magnets, hay escuelas magnets que todavía tienen cupo. Pero es importante que cuando ustedes llamen, pregunten si ustedes ocupan transportación, que les pregunten si es ofrecido, porque no todas las escuelas magnets tienen transporte de autobús. Another thing, if you're not sure what school your child's going to, you go to LAUSD School of Residence and it will take you to this page. You'll type in your home address, and I'm always at Irving, so I'm going to pretend this is where I live. And so if you notice, if I was an Irving student who lived here, I have Benjamin Franklin High School and Eagle Rock High School. When you have two high schools listed in your zone of choice, you need to choose one. If you didn't do so earlier with Ms. Barajas, this was in November, you can always call the school and say, I want to attend your school, and they will tell you what the steps are for you to attend their high school, okay? Let me just go back to this. So, si ustedes todavía no saben qué escuela le toca a su estudiante, a su niño, ustedes pueden oprimir el botón que yo oprimí y ahí les va a enseñar lo que es las escuelas que le toca a su niño. Si le tocan dos escuelas, por ejemplo, la Franklin y la Eagle Rock, usted tiene el derecho de escoger a cuál va a ir. En noviembre, la señora Barajas mandó la información sobre cómo aplicar para una o escoger una. Si no lo hizo, puede llamar directamente a la escuela y ellos le van a indicar cómo hacerlo. For those of you who live in the Belmont zone of choice, there's 12 choices. And so there's different high schools with magnets within or different programs that are specialized within. So if you didn't do this in November, it's not too late. They're all scrambling to fill their seats. So you're at an advantage right now. Call the schools and tell them, I'd like to enroll my child for next year. Do you have space? And they'll accommodate you or guide you in the right direction. If you don't do any of that and you're okay with your child going to their home school, then they will go to the school listed here. But if you have two high schools listed, then you want to make that initial call and make sure you get assigned to the one you want. So, si ustedes están en la zona de Belmont, ahí por la Rampart y el Miguel Contreras, tienen 12 diferentes programas de escoger. Así de que si no lo hicieron en noviembre, no hay problema. Llamen a la escuela que ustedes prefieren y ellos le van a indicar cómo aplicar para esa escuela. But this is super important because they're starting to ask students for their elective choices. They're starting to give out information about orientation. Now, if you've already accepted and you haven't heard from the high school, don't panic. I'll tell you a little secret. High schools are not like Irving. They're not planning for next year the way we are. We're already 3 months ahead into the summer. And so their orientations might not come till July, August. Our orientation for new students is already in May. That's just Irving. But so they will reach out to you. If you don't hear from your child's residence school, I would say by mid-May, you want to call them and see if there's anything else you need to do on your end to start choosing electives, okay? So nosotros aquí en Irving nos gusta hacer las cosas adelantadas. Nosotros ya tenemos orientación y todo para nuevos estudiantes. Las escuelas secundarias no funcionan así. Ellos los van a hacer como en julio o ya para principios de agosto, pero siempre llámenles de aquí a mayo si ustedes no han escuchado de la escuela que le toca a su niño. Yearbooks. Thank you to those of you who have ordered your yearbooks. We have over 150 yearbooks sold. I'm trying to work with the company to extend this date. Today's the last day for you to purchase it and get customized pages. What does that mean? That means that in your yearbook, there will be 2 pages that are only going to be printed on your child's yearbook and where you could put a dedication, baby pictures, anything you want for them to keep. And it will be only on their yearbook. So that's an optional kind of perk that Tree Ring offers. That doesn't mean that you can't still order your yearbook. You can order your yearbook even after graduation. It'll just be mailed home directly to you. So if you don't order by May 5th, I think it's our school deadline, then you will have to pay the additional $5 for shipping. If you order it prior to May 5th, then you will get it shipped to the school and your child will receive it during the last week of May, early June. But if you want the customized pages, order them today. I will send out an email or a call just letting you know if I got that date extended for you, because I know you want to take the weekend to scramble and find those pictures. El anuario ya está a la venta por la plataforma de Tree Ring. Y lo que ofrece esta compañía es 2 páginas que usted diseña, que solo son imprimidas en el anuario de su niño. Es importante que lo hagan lo más pronto posible si quieren esas 2 páginas personalizadas. Si no las quieren, no se preocupe. Puede ordenar de aquí hasta el otro año. El anuario se va a vender todo el año del 2023. La única diferencia es que si usted aplica antes, si usted lo compra antes del 5 de mayo, le va a venir directamente aquí a la escuela. Entonces, si le viene aquí a la escuela, se le va a dar al niño la primera semana de junio. Si no, va a tener que pagar los $5 adicionales. Y esos $5 adicionales es para que se lo manden a usted a la casa directamente. If you have trouble ordering it on TreeRing, you could always give us a call and then we'll help you out, or you can stop by and we'll help you out. Si tiene problemas ordenarlo en la plataforma de TreeRing, siempre pueden venir a la escuela y ordenarlo y nosotros le ayudamos. Six Flags Grad Night. I just want to do a shout out for Ms. Mendez and our counseling intern who has been going into city councils and knocking in people's doors, trying to get them to sponsor our buses. Unfortunately, we haven't had anybody who's willing to pay for the buses. And so it does hike up the price to $125. Six Flags already had hiked up the price to about $90-something for the trip. So we do have 3 buses reserved. It is $125 to go. They must be eligible to culminate and follow the Irving 5 Ps because we do want them to go to an event and be safe and act properly. We only have 125 seats, 120 seats. So that's super important because we can't book an extra bus. There's just no more. So if you are interested in your child attending this optional non-LAUSD sponsored event, they would go to the student store, pick up a field trip packet, you fill it out, and then you send the $125 cash payment with your child, or you can come and drop it off and reserve their seat. Now they must stay on track to culminate. If we get closer to the date and they're off track and they're not, they're failing their English math class, you will get your money back, but we will open up the seat for anybody who didn't purchase a ticket. And I get this question all the time. Do chaperones go? Yeah, Mr. Roscom and Mr. Lozano and a lot of our teachers and support staff do go, but once they're at the park, they're kind of like doing their thing. Another side note, just in case I forget to tell you later on in May, it's a no cash policy at Six Flags. So if they don't already have Google Pay, Apple Pay, or a credit card or a debit card, they will have to purchase like they go to this special machine, they put in their cash and it gives them like a credit card type of thing that they can use around the park to purchase items. The wristband that we are getting for students includes the meal, and it's a 2-hour window for them to go get their meals, and they'll get more instructions on that. But the cash thing is brand new. It was brand new to us, so it caught a lot of people off guard. So just know, I will repeat all this information in a Connect Ed. I'll be sending Connect Eds every Monday at 6 p.m. for 8th grade parents only. If you didn't get Mondays, then give the office a call and let them know you're not getting the Connect Eds, because that means you're not on the 8th grade list. El viaje para la montaña mágica va a ser en mayo. And I should give you the date for it. I'll give you the date in a little bit. Va a ser en mayo, parece que es el 26 o el 25 de mayo. Solo tenemos 120 asientos. Tenemos 3 autobuses y están bien caros. La señora Méndez y nuestra ayudante en la consejería ha estado tratando de agarrar becas para poder cubrir los fondos, pero no han tenido suerte, no les han aprobado el fondo. Por eso es que está alto el precio. También porque la montaña mágica le subió a $90 el pasaje. No pueden usar sus pases anuarios ni cualquier otro boleto. Es un evento especial. Si desean que su hijo vaya, ellos tienen que estar listos en la lista para graduarse, tener buenas calificaciones, buen comportamiento, y también ellos tienen que recoger un paquete de la tienda estudiantil. Usted lo llena, manda en efectivo el pago o puede venir a hacerlo usted y ya el niño reserva su viaje. Si el niño de aquí a 26 de mayo no termina los requisitos para graduarse, se le regresa a usted el dinero y le abrimos el puesto a otro niño, porque siempre se llena el cupo y no hay suficientes. El problema es de que no se pueden agarrar más autobuses por el costo y también porque ya no hay. Y se van de 3:30 de la mañana y llegan aquí como a las 12, 1 de la mañana. Okay, culmination will be on Saturday, June 10th. Oh, thanks, Ms. Karen, for putting the date. Culmination will be on Saturday, June 10th at 8:30 a.m. That means it will start at 8:30 a.m. So you will need to get here a little bit early so that students will line up. We're asking students to line up at 7:45. They will receive specific instructions and rehearse with us the last week of June, not the last week of June, the last week of school, which is June 5th through June 9th. And so it is a Saturday culmination. Now we're not giving tickets out, and we'll explain this a little bit more. The reason we're not doing it in our auditorium is because we would only be able to give you 2 tickets and we would have to split the culmination in 2. So we're not going to do that. We're going to have it outdoors. We will give you more information on the procedures on how to get to culmination, where you park and all that. But we want you to know we're not going to ask for tickets, but there will be limited seating. We will have a special section for senior citizens or anybody who is in need of assistance. But we have 234 graduating 8th graders, and we will have couple more seats, but we just want to tell you, we're not limiting you because we know it's a big deal and everybody wants to be present at these ceremonies, but keep in mind that we will have limited seating. So if you were thinking of inviting 20, you might want to invite 6. La graduación va a ser el 10 de junio. Les vamos a dar más detalles en lo que sea más pronto. Es un sábado. Va a empezar la ceremonia a las 8:30 de la mañana. Así que les pedimos que los estudiantes van a llegar a las 7:45 a hacer línea. Ellos van a practicar del 5 de junio al 9 de junio. Y en este tiempo se les va a decir a ellos dónde van a tener que ir, qué es lo que van a tener que hacer. Y a ustedes se les van a dar más detalles en lo que pase más tiempo. Ahorita estamos apenas empezando a planear todo lo que es la graduación. You will get more detailed information on culmination as we get closer. Right now, we're starting the pre-planning process, and it takes us the whole month of May. That's what I dedicate to, because it is a lot of things, because we give awards, recognitions, we have to select our valedictorian and salutatorian. And we do ask you no cap and gowns. The district does not permit cap and gowns for the culminations. And we'll go over a little bit on the dress code with students. So no se puede poner togas ni viratas para la culminación porque es una escuela intermedia, así de que el distrito no deja que se vengan así vestidos los niños. Eso se guarda para lo que es la graduación de la escuela secundaria. So I know I always say I only have 3 slides and then I end up talking forever, but we really want to spread the word. And please, if you're an 8th grade parent, let other 8th grade parents that you don't see in the meeting know about this, because sometimes, life gets busy. As parents, we're always running around and we forget. But please mark the calendars, and we will have more information on 8th grade. We do have the 8th grade formal, and I'm glad Miss Karen brought it up. It's on May 5th. I will be sending out a call next Monday explaining all the different volunteer opportunities we have. We'd like leadership. They're all 8th graders, so we'd like them to be part of their formal and not have to be in charge of any stations. So we're happy to have parent volunteers. And I know in the past you guys have been so great. You've helped us decorate and man the dessert tables and different things like that. So we will let you know. Okay. Thank you. Oh, Ms. Heather, we should have recorded it. We should have recorded that. I'm going to probably record exactly what I said and just send it as a recording. All right, thank you. That's my part. Muchas gracias. Les vamos a dar más información sobre el baile del 5 de mayo, que es para 8º grado, porque queremos voluntarios y en el pasado ustedes nos han ayudado mucho para que así los niños no tengan que trabajar las estaciones ese día, sino que puedan estar disfrutando el baile. Voy a mandar más información este lunes en la llamada a las 6 de la tarde. Gracias. Thank you, Mr. Oscom.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Guevara. That was a great presentation. Excellent, excellent. All right, Mr. Clausen, you are up.
Sorry, I'm getting questions about the testing right now. Let me just send this. A minute.
So for those of you who don't know Mr. Clausen, Mr. Clausen is our college and career coach, and he's also an 8th grade English teacher. This is his first year as college and career coach, and he's done a great job. And he will talk to you about college, what to expect for college and financial aid and whatnot.
Yes.
And,
yeah. I'm also the humanities chair And so I'm getting email questions from humanities teachers about our CASP testing right now. Okay, hi everybody. My name is Mr. Clausen. I'm here to give, oh, can I get access? Do I have access to share screen, or how does that work?
Well, you give him co-host rights, Mr. Oscar. I'm going to translate. El señor Clausen es el consejero universitario de la escuela. Y su otro tiempo es maestro de octavo grado. Así de que él, este es su primer año en la posición, para darnos una presentación de lo que está haciendo ahorita y lo que va a hacer en los próximos años.
You should be able to go now, Mr. Clausen.
I got it. Yep. Thank you. All right. College support and preparation and what we do here at the school, myself and the counselors and Ms. Guevara, it's a team effort. And so here we go. If you have any questions, there's gonna be a section at the end.
Voy a presentarles sobre todo el apoyo para colegio de los que le damos a los estudiantes aquí en Irving. Lo hacemos en un equipo, así que voy a explicar un poquito de lo que hacemos.
All right. So first of all, the PSATs, I was on paternity leave when this happened. So Ms. Guevara did a great job, from what I understand, of putting the PSATs on, which is a great start for our students. And in fact, we would like them to keep taking the PSATs every year, and as many of the SAT prep classes as we can. But it's a great start for all of our students to start getting used to those SAT tests.
El examen PSAT se le da a los estudiantes en el octavo grado. Es un examen donde les ayuda a saber qué tanto están preparados para el colegio. Así que lo hicimos este año. El distrito lo cubre para todos los niños de octavo grado, pero siempre le aconsejamos a los niños que los sigan tomando, porque así es práctica. Así de que ellos lo pueden tomar entre cuantas veces quieran de aquí a los 11 grados.
All right. So one other thing that we do here is Mr. Rich's college awareness field trips. And Mr. Rich, for a while now, I don't know exactly how long, but 6 years, maybe. I mean, for a while, he's been doing this, where he's been taking groups of students to all over the city to see different colleges. And over the years, we've built up connections with the admin at those colleges, and they get us tours of sometimes the sports facilities, sometimes the film facilities. It's great. The students get to talk with some of the college students there and ask them questions. And this year they went to UCLA, USC, Caltech, and LA Trade Tech.
El señor Rich tiene años haciendo los viajes a colegio. Estos viajes a colegios es para que los niños aprendan a ver cómo es la vida de un estudiante en el colegio y emocionarse y ir a a decir, yo voy a ir a este colegio, porque ya estando ahí ven cómo todo funciona. Cuando ellos llegan, no nomás es de ver el plantel escolar, pero también entran a lo que es el plantel de cinematografía, la clase de tecnología, así, y van hablando con profesores y estudiantes de la experiencia que ellos tienen en estos lugares. Ya tenemos muchos años haciendo estos viajes para estudiantes del octavo grado que están interesados. Han ido a UCLA, a USC, a la escuela Caltech y a la escuela LA Trade Tech, porque también les queremos enseñar que está el paso universitario, pero también está el paso para aprender una carrera. Hay diferentes formas, no siempre tiene que hacer los 4 años, también hay otras opciones para sacar una carrera rápida, y así los estudiantes saben qué es lo que tienen que hacer en la escuela secundaria.
Next year, he is planning to go to Stanford, which will be cool. And I think I said all this stuff. Campus life, student life. The campus, student life, different available programs and fields of study. I think you said all that. Okay.
El otro año piensan ir a Stanford. Es un viaje más largo para que ellos vean otras escuelas que están fuera del condado y se emocionen más.
So other miscellaneous things, on March 30th, we did, with the students and the faculty, we did the college t-shirt day, which is where we encourage students and teachers to wear any college gear that they might have. It was a fun way for teachers to show their school spirit and start conversations with the student body about the college they went to. Some teachers were even brave enough to wear their UCLA gear, fight on.
El 30 de marzo hicimos el día de playeras de colegio y esto le pedimos a los estudiantes que pusieran una playera de un colegio que ellos han visitado o que sus padres han ido o hermanos o también nomás de que es su favorito. También los maestros se pusieron sus playeras y el propósito era de que empezaran la conversación de cómo el maestro o la maestra llegó a ese colegio, cómo lo escogieron, para que ellos vayan viendo que las diferentes formas de lo que uno hace para llegar a estos lugares, qué hace uno en la escuela secundaria o qué decisiones ha hecho en su vida como joven para llegar a tener su carrera.
In addition, today is the first day of the college application essay competition. The entire student body will be provided with the 6 most popular college applications essay prompts of 2022 and 2023. Actually, it might be 2023, 2024, actually, now that I think about it. And asked to submit their best response to one of them. The top 3 submissions will win a $25 gift card and a free dress day pass. So it'll be fun kind of way of getting the kids to getting a feel for what the college application is looking for. And one of the main things they're looking for is, especially as they start moving away from these standardized tests, it seems like they're going to be relying more heavily on things like the essay.
También tenemos un nuevo concurso que es ensayos de colegio y estos son los ensayos de preguntas que son las más comunes que le preguntan a los estudiantes cuando están aplicando a estos colegios populares. So, los ensayos son basados en las preguntas del 2023, 24 y es para que saquen ellos práctica de cómo escribir estos ensayos y qué es lo que ellos buscan para que ellos se preparen en lo que vayan estos 4 años a la escuela secundaria. Y para que sea un poquito divertido, se les va a dar a los para poder usar ropa casual cualquier día que ellos escojan.
Okay, the practice FAFSA form I have here. I posted this here at the bottom. I don't know why it's not a link, but if you can highlight it, I suppose, and cut and paste it. And I'm going to cut and paste the link to this entire slideshow for everyone, so you'll have access to that. This is a practice FAFSA form from the FAFSA website. And for those of you who are interested, it's a way for parents and students to be able to see what information are they going to need, what does the FAFSA form look like. This is the main form you use for the federal student aid funding. And I've posted this on the front of my Schoology page, and I've also shared it with the entire humanities department and asked them to post it on the front of their Schoology page. So if it's not there now, it should be there soon. But yeah, so this is there for everyone.
También lo que tengo es un enlace en las páginas de Schoology de cómo aplicar para FAFSA. FAFSA es el programa del gobierno donde le dan ayuda financiera a los estudiantes para ir al colegio, para que se les haga posible. Puede ser un préstamo o puede ser dinero que no necesiten regresar. Pero en este ensayo, en este enlace usted va a encontrar las formas y qué son los requisitos. Ahora sepan que los requisitos cambian cada año, pero siempre es bueno ver qué es lo que el gobierno ve en cuestión de darles las opciones de ayuda financiera a los estudiantes. Todas las maestras de inglés tienen el enlace puesto en su página de Schoology.
Okay, so we do have, obviously, I think we all know that we have math tutoring here. And so I can't speak to that because I'm in the humanities department. I'm the chair of the humanities department, but I can speak to the humanities intervention and tutoring. I just want to go over this quickly, just that we do hold tutoring on most days, and some Fridays and Saturdays, even mostly we've phased out Saturdays, I think. These sessions mostly exist to help students raise their grades in English and history. And then on 5 through 8 days, we hold intervention classes in my classroom where we go and pull students who scored low on their reading Lexile scores, their reading comprehension scores, and we try to help boost their scores for reading intervention. How does this plan? Well, this will make sure that they will hit all their English and pass all their English classes for high school, and will therefore allow them to also get those AP classes that most colleges are looking for.
Nosotros también aquí tenemos intervención. Ustedes saben que tenemos intervención de matemática, pero yo quisiera hablar un poquito de la intervención de inglés y historia, porque yo soy el encargado del departamento de inglés. Tenemos sesiones después de escuela los lunes, miércoles, jueves y viernes. Y estas sesiones son para que los estudiantes suban sus calificaciones en la clase, pero también cuando necesitan ayuda en lectura y para escribir. También tenemos los periodos 5 a 8, tenemos intervención durante el día. Y es en el salón 101, y lo que hacemos es que vamos viendo estudiantes que tienen muy bajo porcentaje de lectura para enseñarles a aprender a leer un poquito mejor y llegar al grado en el que deberían de estar, y también para hacer sus tareas.
In addition, that should also help with their SAT scores also.
Adicionalmente, eso les ayuda también para el examen SAT.
Okay, now for the IGP, this is something that the counselors run twice a year. So the IGP stands for the Individual Graduation Plan. At the beginning of the school year and at the start, coming back from winter break, the counselors hold an auditorium meeting with the student body and discuss the IGP. This includes a lesson on what is needed to graduate high school, as well as what the UCs and the Cal States require from high school graduates. That includes the classes that they need to have completed and the subject requirements that they need to hit. If anyone is interested in those things, what is in the IGP and what they're going over, I don't know that off the top of my head, but I know that, but Mr. Lozano has sent me their slides that they do for the IGP. So anyone that's interested, my email is going to be at the end of this. If you send me an email, I can forward those slides to you so that you can have all that information too.
Nuestros consejeros también se reúnen con los estudiantes al principio del año y después de regresar de las vacaciones de invierno para platicar con ellos de la importancia de su plan de graduación. Y su plan de graduación lo que es las clases que son requeridas para graduarse, no nomás de la escuela intermedia, pero de la escuela secundaria, para estar listos para asistir a una escuela o a un colegio universitario, lo que es el sistema UC y el sistema Cal State. Así que si ustedes quieren una copia de la presentación de nuestros consejeros, le pueden llamar al señor Clausen y él se las manda por correo electrónico.
Okay. I've also just put together here a few additional resources. Some of these are great. I gotta say, one of these is a planning guide for parents about what you should be doing along the way. One of these are 10 things that parents should be doing with their students, like, you know, for example, trying to put the ball in the student's hands, trying to have the student be the one who's in charge of looking at the colleges that they're interested in. One of these is a great checklist for when they're in high school, like putting dates together. When would move-in date be? When are your SAT scores due? And so this is a checklist where you can fill it out. There's some great stuff here. These last two, I think, are about financial aid. So again, this is in the slideshow that I'm going to post in just a minute once I finish. Lastly, you know, we are also looking for suggestions. Is there something that you would like to have support with that you don't see here? Is there something that you would like us to try and do for next year? Feel free to either put in the chat or raise your hand, or my email is here. You can feel free to send me an email and we can keep talking, or I can add that to my possible to-do list for next year.
También les enseñó unos enlaces para cosas que los padres pueden hacer. Él va a compartir eso con la escuela. También está dando su correo electrónico, porque si ustedes tienen sugerencias o hay programas que ustedes quisieran ver que él traiga el otro año, él las puede tomar las sugerencias ahorita, o le pueden mandar ustedes un correo electrónico para preguntarle cualquier cosa que tengan del colegio o también de la escuela secundaria.
All right.
I have a question. Did you put your, I might have missed it. If I did, I apologize. Did you put your PowerPoint in the chat?
No, I didn't yet, but I'm going to. I tried to, and then I think I had copied the wrong thing. So I'm going to.
That way the parents can get to the links. That's
No,
great.
yeah, I definitely will. Hold on.
And any suggestions you guys have, please let us know, because this is an area of growth for us. We'd like to start, and that's something that Mr. Clausen will work on next year, is adding opportunities for students to take college courses online. So LA City College, Trade Tech, they all have different activities, and you can look them up now. They have STEAM opportunities. That's what they call it, STEAM classes for students grades 6 through 8, and for high school students. And these are classes that you take from home on Zoom. They're college classes. They give you points for high school. And so when your child goes into high school, they already have elective units. So that's something that we're going to start bringing and making available for students, just to have easier access, because they do need permission from the school that we have to vouch that they are capable of taking a college course. And then, of course, he's working on a mentoring program for new and incoming students. And then also those students who are at risk, that they're absent too much, he'll be working on that. But if you guys have any suggestions, please let us know. También el señor Clausen va a estar trabajando con estudiantes que están ausentes mucho tiempo para motivarlos a venir a la escuela el otro año. También va a tener un programa en donde los estudiantes que vienen entrando a la escuela están con otros estudiantes que ya están en la escuela, para hacer esa transición fácil. Y también y ahorita ya están disponibles, hay clases de colegio en LACC que son gratis para los estudiantes. O si ustedes quieren que tomen escuela de verano y no tienen que irlos a dejar al colegio, los estudiantes pueden tomar estas clases y ellos ya están acumulando puntos para lo que es la escuela secundaria. Y eso es gratis para los estudiantes, y es un programa que todos los colegios comunitarios del condado de Los Ángeles tiene, así de que esa información también se las vamos a mandar, porque es importante que los estudiantes tomen ya clases estando porque son gratis. Entonces usted no se tiene que preocupar de lo que es pagar por esas clases. Take advantage of it, parents. When you guys are in high school, always ask about high school college courses that your child can take, because the district and the county pay for them. So you don't even have to worry. They even give them their textbooks. So let's take you're taking a film class during your 9th grade year of your child's first semester. That counts as elective units towards their high school graduation, and it also counts as college units. So when they go into college, they're no longer just 0 unit freshmen. They're actually already coming in with classes and units attached to them, and that saves you money and it saves them time. So those are things you want to take advantage of. There's a lot of different programs like that. Zoom changed it all. It's so easy. You don't even have to drop them off. All right. Thank you, Mr. Clausen. Any questions for Mr. Clausen? ¿Alguna pregunta para el señor Clausen? Okay. Thank you, Mr. Clausen.
Thank you, everybody. I wrote that email down. Thank you so much.
And now, Mr. Boscom is open for any questions or suggestions you might have. Pregunta o sugerencia que ustedes tienen.
Okay, I just sent, let me see if they emailed me back. I sent the question is, one of the parents is asking me about the RC trip. I'm not optimistic about this trip. However, I've been asking them, Risk Finance, to hurry the trip along. Let me check my email right now and see if anything came of it. Because I sent another message today and asked them what's taking the thing. Normally the out-of-state trips, the minimum is like 8 weeks. And unfortunately, our trip was, it's only been, the paperwork's only been in for 2 weeks. So let me see.
La pregunta es de que si el viaje de RC ha sido aprobado. Él está chequeando su correo electrónico, pero cuando es un viaje estatal se tarda mucho el distrito en aprobarlos. Siempre tiene alguna restricción, so él va a chequear. Any other questions while he's looking for that one? Heather?
Yeah, hi, I have two questions. One is a simple question and one is a bit more sensitive. I'll start with the easier question. So I have two 6th graders and they have mentioned it's funny, one of them is like playing like hide and seek and stuff and lunch and like really having a great time. And I actually just noticed like it feels like they're missing just like regular old recess. And then one mentioned like, oh, if there were just like a crate or a box of just balls, they would kind of more readily just go and like play various things at lunch. And I just didn't know if that's a possibility. I know that there are more kind of some structured things, like some groups play, soccer or basketball, and I've asked them about that. And then but they were like, oh, but some of them are 8th graders, so we can't play. So yeah, so I just wondered, just a kind of a lunchtime and just like a free play time, because I think 6th graders kind of have one foot still in the elementary world and one foot in the older kid world.
That's a great question. So the answer is yes, we do have basketball going on the lower yard and soccer going on the lower yard and handball. But I don't mind giving those. We have a lot of those soft squishy balls that they could use on the 8th grade lawn, as long as there's somebody out there supervising them, like for if they want to do foursquare or just to kick the ball around, stuff like that.
Yeah.
On that one area, just in that one area, because it is kind of that's safe enough area to do it. So we'll bring those out there. That's fine.
Okay.
But they can also join the events down there too. So.
And where is that, Mr. Ruscombe?
That's the area that's like, there's a little park-like area on the other side of the on the opposite side next to the auditorium. That's an area I supervise. I don't mind if the kids are tossing around a ball out there, as long as it's the one that's pretty soft. So
yeah, not like getting bumped in the head with a hard ball. Yeah.
La pregunta fue si hay pelotas o diferentes cosas que los niños pueden hacer durante el recreo, porque hay algunos niños que están todavía con la mentalidad de la escuela primaria donde pueden ir a correr y usar la pelota y todo. Así que el director va a proporcionar estas pelotas en la área por el auditorio. Allá hay una área con grama y también él es el que lo supervisa, so él va a traer eso para que haya para que hayan pelotas disponibles para que los niños jueguen.
Yeah.
I want to add with the funds that we got some supplies. So I just got the box this week. It's different type of balls, so I can hand that over to you, Mr. Oscom, if you want to use it on that side with when we supervise. They're different kinds, like different sports.
Okay.
Great, thank you. So that was the first question. The second question is a more sensitive question. So my two kids have shared with me, and other kids have talked about, that there have been, at least this year, some anti-Semitic statements made directed toward Jewish friends, some different drawings that are really not okay. And also they've also shared that other kids they've heard using hate language like N-words, etc. And look, I think our world unfortunately has a lot of struggles right now, a lot of hate language out there. I would love to think that Irving is impervious to it, but I think as a it's pretty upsetting, and I would love to know, like, is there a plan to have kind of I imagine that the individual situations are being addressed, but is there a way to actually have a broader school-wide discussion initiative because, you know, sixth graders are drawing really bad symbols.
Yeah.
You know, it's really not okay. And I'm saying this as a person who is, you know, I'm not Jewish, nor am I Black.
Yeah.
And it shouldn't be for that population to have to speak up.
Do you want to read? That's a great question. It's such an important question. Ms. Guevara, do you want to say the question out in Spanish and then I'll answer it? That's a,
Okay.
I can address that.
La pregunta, bueno, lo que ella quería traer a la atención del director y la de la escuela es de que hay algunos estudiantes en el sexto grado que han estado dibujando cosas de que son, discriminan contra lo que es la religión judía y también usando la palabra que empieza con la letra N, hablando de otros estudiantes. Entonces, lo que ella quisiera saber es de que cómo la escuela está ayudando a no dejar que ese problema se haga más grande, que si hay asambleas o cosas donde nosotros le platicamos a los estudiantes la importancia de respetar a otros, y de lo que significan esas palabras y el significado de esos símbolos, porque a veces los niños no saben lo que significa o el impacto que tienen, así de que es algo de que quisiera de que nosotros platicáramos con ellos para que ellos entiendan de que una palabra puede tener un significado muy impactante hacia otra persona.
So again, that's a great question. So the first thing is I would say on that issue is that I have the same observation as you that's been in the last few years in our culture in general. There's been greater balkanization in our society and less tolerance. And we're seeing that manifest itself in many different ways. And I'm not really sure about why it's happening, but it is tending to happen. And the school is not impervious to it. The kids see that on social media, and they see it in the media, and they you know, there's a lot that's of learning that's not necessarily good that's going on right now in our society. You can translate that, Ms.
No, él entiende mucho lo que ahorita estamos platicando. Es un problema no nomás de la escuela, pasa en todas las escuelas. No estamos diciendo que no es algo que nosotros necesitamos hablar, pero estamos en una cultura donde los niños están viendo cosas en diferentes medios, en donde ellos ven lo que están diciendo otras personas y en sí no captan la magnitud de lo que es el impacto de esas palabras o de esos símbolos. O él sí sabe de que es un problema que tenemos que solucionar.
The good news I see is that they're just a general culture, and then I'll focus on the school. But with it seems that humanity is slowly getting more and more progressive in general, and more tolerant to diversity, except for these back steps. That we go 2 steps forward and then 1 step back. So that seems to be happening. But with respect to the school, and this has been true of every year, and it's not just true at Irving. There's a systematic plan that the district has us follow, and we do follow it here, where at the beginning of the year, when we have our student discipline or student behavior, positive behavior assemblies, a large part of that we talk about tolerance for different people's views, not bullying people. You know, we talk about the importance of not doing it, how that's actually reflective of the individual that's doing it. It's a matter of their own self-esteem when they're doing it. But the other thing that we also talk about is there are consequences for it. So we do have these assemblies built into place throughout the year, beginning of the semester, mid-semester, the beginning of the second semester, and usually right about now we do another one where we remind students about the importance of tolerance and not
Durante el año escolar, al principio y durante diferentes meses, nosotros hacemos asambleas para platicar con los estudiantes de las consecuencias de este comportamiento. No es la solución nada más, hay más plática que tiene que haber para que los niños entiendan cómo comportarse y cómo no señalar a personas de otras razas o de otras religiones. Y eso está pasando en muchas escuelas, pero como él dice, también hablar de las consecuencias. Así que vamos a hacer más el enfoque en decirles, si haces esto es la consecuencia y esto es lo que vas a perder, porque estás dañándole no nada más la autoestima a otra persona, pero le estás afectando lo que es la imagen de ser una buena persona sin tener que estar perjudicando a otras personas que son diferentes a uno.
Now, with respect to when we catch students doing things that are intolerant to either other races, religions, or sexual orientation, we do have a system in place also. Sometimes, usually the counselors handle it, but often Mr. Schroeder and I also, or Ms. Harrison, all the administrators also handle it. Teachers also handle it in the classroom. So it's progressive. For example, if it happens, sometimes students just need to be told, hey, that's actually really intolerant. You need to knock that off. It's something they can tell them, the teacher can tell them in the classroom. If it raises to the level of going to the counseling office, then the student, the counselors will counsel them and tell their parents about what the behavior was, and hopefully that'll stop the behavior. If it continues, then it ends up being on my plate, and then it starts to be actions like, they have discipline actions like quiet lunch and other things like that. But when it gets to the point where it comes to me, then it becomes suspensions and followed by more counseling. But it also can lead to an expulsion. There are cases and instances where that kind of behavior, depending on how long the student's been doing it and how severe it is, that it could lead to an expulsion.
So, hay diferentes frases que pasan cuando un niño está comportándose de esa manera hacia otra persona. Lo primero es los maestros que lo reportan o el niño que lo reportan. De ahí los consejeros hablan con este niño para ver o niña, por qué el estudiante está actuando de esa forma. ¿Qué es lo que lo hace pensar así sobre otras personas? Si la consejería no sirve, entonces esas sesiones con los consejeros, entonces hay más consecuencias. Siempre a veces les dan lo que es quiet lunch. Quiet lunch es cuando en el almuerzo solo comen con la consejera y ella les da un ensayo de reflexión para que reflexionen lo que han hecho, las acciones que han hecho y las consecuencias que se le ha dado. Han habido casos que escalan. Si ese comportamiento sigue, entonces ya los subdirectores y el director se involucra. Cuando eso pasa, hay cosas como suspensiones. Suspenden al estudiante por 1 o 2 días. Después le dan más consejería. Si eso no cambia, entonces el director tiene el derecho de meter el papeleo para que al niño lo saquen de la escuela, no nada más de la escuela, pero del distrito escolar, que es una expulsión. Así de que hay diferentes consecuencias para estudiantes, pero sí es cierto de que hay muchos estudiantes que cuando se les da ya lo de la consejería, ellos cambian porque va viendo la gravedad del problema, porque a veces lo ven en otras plataformas y creen que es algo que todo mundo hace.
I will tell you that, as far as one of the things I've noticed in the last few years, which I'm glad about, is that the students are much more tolerant about sexual orientation than when I was in school. Not perfect, but it's kids have especially here at our campus, but I've noticed in other campuses too that it's the kids are growing up a lot more tolerant to that in general in the schools.
Yeah, and I think that's why I wanted to raise this, because I do see kids are in general very, very tolerant, and we have a very special school. And so it's seeing, is this, I'm not in any way trying to suggest this is a, broader problem or a theme or anything like that. But when, seeing some of these behaviors, and, my kids they raised it to me because they knew it was awful, but I think their eyes were widened when they saw that my husband and I were like, what? like that is really awful. Like drawing a swastika on a folder is really, really awful. And so they were like, oh, we knew it was bad, but it's like, it's significant. It's really significant. And so I wondered, I mean, it sounds like the district has some things in place, but is there anything else that Irving can do to, kind of cultivate more tolerance, even though there is already a lot?
I think we're trying. I mean, I do really think that the counselors and the administrators, Mr. Schroeder and Ms. Harrison, are the ones that, and Mr. Lozano and Ms. Bras are the ones that conduct the tolerance, and understanding what hate speech is and what hate ideology is, and symbiology also. So.
I think our PSW could also go into classes now for 6th and 7th grade and talk about that, because it is a sensitive topic for teachers to bring up. And if I think if Mr. Roscom, I think we could bring it up to her, and I think she'd be happy to do it. Is just go into these classes, especially right now at soon as, they're going to be done with English testing before, so we'll have a gap there. Just so that they don't go into summer thinking, hey, this was okay. And so when we come back, then we can reinforce it with lessons. Because if she covers the tougher part of it, just addressing it at first, it will allow us as teachers to talk about it a little bit more freely with our students. Yeah. So if that's okay, I think we can approach it that way.
I think that would be great. I mean, I worry about normalizing, right? Normalizing, again, perhaps one-off behavior, but, anti-Semitic behavior is pretty bad. Racist behavior is really bad. And so I don't want any, kids to be like, this is just how it goes at our school, and just normalizing it. Even if they know there are consequences for the individual, it's like, this is just not acceptable as a community.
Absolutely.
We totally agree.
Yeah, no, I know you do. Right.
I have to, I have to be careful because I like to go into the classroom sometimes, but if I say specifically, don't draw swastikas,
of course,
bathroom,
right?
You know what happens? Some of the kids, they go, "Oh, Mr. Roscom doesn't like that. I'm going to draw swastikas."
Of course, right? And I don't want to highlight. Okay, it's this individual that was targeted, but it doesn't matter, right? It's not about an individual. It's about a community. Yeah.
But it is a problem, and I agree with you too. I feel like there's some leaders right now that are mainstream leaders that are not calling that out for what it is, and they're kind of acting like that is normal, and it's creating mixed messages for our society, which is
100%. We could talk about that all day.
I agree. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you for, as I said, sensitive topic, but I felt it was really important.
Great question.
Yeah, I love that question. I think it's important because it gives us something, just you bringing it up. So we have it in our radar, but then when you bring it up, it just puts it more into perspective of, okay, action plan, it needs to be done, and how we can go about it. So thank you. I'm going to translate, but while I translate this, Mr. Roscom, I'm going to give you Joanna's question is, for those of us who could not make it to the modernization meeting, are there any updates? So I'll let you think that one, and I'm going to translate what we just talked about. So lo que estaba hablando la señora Heather es el comportamiento de ciertos estudiantes, como decíamos, del lenguaje y de los símbolos que están dibujando en sus cartapacios. Lo que nosotros vamos a tratar de hacer es empezar esta plática este año con nuestra PSW, que es nuestra trabajadora social, porque es un tema un poquito más difícil para que un maestro o maestro hable. So, si ella primero hace lo que es la plataforma y la fundación de qué es lo que nosotros estamos tratando de decirles, entonces ya cuando vengan el otro año se pueden hacer lecciones sobre cómo ser más tolerante, sobre religión, raza, preferencias sexuales, todas esas diferentes cosas. So, le agradecemos mucho que ella haya dadonos este mensaje de algo de que nosotros nos tenemos que enfocar. Antes de tomar la pregunta de la señora Zúñiga, vamos a tomar la pregunta de la señora Joana, que estaba esperando en el chat y que pregunta, en la reunión de modernización, hay algunas actualizaciones para los que no pudimos asistir. Okay, go ahead, Mr. Roscom.
A parent, I'm not going to say who, but I'm going to, just because it was an indirect question, but I just want to make this really important that I didn't make clear. If your child is specifically being bullied, and if it's no matter what kind of bullying it is, whether it's a racial bully or a religious bullying or sexual orientation bullying or just the way they look, like some minor thing, they need to come. That we have an open door policy. They need to come into our office and let us know immediately. So I'm going to follow up on one of the parents put a message in there for me. I'm going to follow up on that one. Very important that the students know that if they don't want to tell, because in the kid culture they think that that's wrong, that they're going to that that's the wrong thing. But actually, if they don't tell, the students will keep doing it. So once we know who it is, then I can start putting pressure on them. And believe me, I tell this to the kids, when their parents come in and find out, most of the time, 99% of the time, when their parents find out that they're doing something that's they're being prejudicial towards people for different religions, or their sexual orientation, or sexually harassing somebody, or just bullying in nature, most parents are mortified. And so usually just telling the parents that they're doing that has a huge impact on that issue.
So, lo que sí queremos que sepan es de que si su niño lo están acosando, puede ser verbalmente, físicamente, sexualmente, es importante que nos diga si su hijo está sintiendo esto, porque nosotros sí actuamos rápido. A él le acaban de mandar un mensaje por la chat explicando de algo que está sucediendo y él lo va a tomar. Y es un equipo de investigación, porque Ms. Karen y yo le podemos decir que nosotros cuando vemos que alguien más está también ocupado, dejamos de hacer lo que nosotros estamos haciendo para ver estos reportes y ver qué es lo que está pasando, porque no lo toleramos. Así de que si su niño o el estudiante se siente en alguna forma que ha sido acosado o está siendo acosado o lo están molestando, por favor déjenos saber, porque esto sí no lo toleramos. Do you want to do the modernization update and then we'll go with Ms. Zúñiga?
Yeah, okay, so
Va a responder una pregunta, ahorita tomamos la pregunta de Ms. Zúñiga.
there really wasn't, I mean, most of the updates were kind of just a review of what they'd already talked about before. I will tell you finally I will tell you that I've been working with them on the design. I find that they're very open, and they are actually making modifications in their ideas about the school, how they're going to do the main design. I'm trying to, when we have a big modernization meeting and they actually have the design team here, like the architects, it's really important for the parents to come in and tell them that when they do build the new building, that it's built with like this old building where it's a building with big windows and it lets the light in. And so because Ms. Guevara and I have been at schools where they built in a new building and it looks like a submarine when you're inside. So they understand that they're replacing a historic building. And the last design that I worked with them on, they're lifting the classrooms up so that they have a view like the classrooms do now of the surrounding area. And they also are going to be putting in a lot more green space than we have now. So it's looking like the school's going to may end up being quite beautiful. With respect to the timeline is set. The charter school is going to be off our campus next year. We have one more year with the charter school here, and then they're going to build additional temporary housing on the campus. that might sound bad, but to me, the good news is we're going to have 2 fields. We'll have a field. Have access to the grass field and the other field, and they're going to be giving us excess space. So we'll have like more space than we would ever need for the school. So, and the bungalow rooms that they're building are huge. They're huge, huge classrooms. So.
Cuando tuvieron la reunión, explicaron los diferentes motivos y diseños y sugerencias que están tomando. So, el director se ha reunido con ellos varias veces y lo que ellos algo que nosotros siempre le hemos dicho al equipo de diseño es que no queremos un edificio que parezca caja. Están votando un edificio histórico como es este edificio y esta escuela que ha estado aquí por muchos años. Entonces, le hemos pedido que hagan un edificio que va a verse bien en la comunidad, porque ¿verdad? Porque esto le afecta también a los que viven cerca y también que sea un lugar donde los niños puedan sentirse en casa, que no nomás sea una caja de concreto. Empezando con ventanas. Muchos de los edificios nuevos de las escuelas que están creando son edificios en donde no se puede abrir ni la ventana o no tienen ventana los salones. Entonces, eso es algo que se le ha pedido. Y nosotros hemos visto algunos diseños y lo que están planeando va a ser como, el edificio va a ser en forma de una L y eso significa que todo va a quedar el centro de la escuela donde va a haber más grama, va a haber más lugares donde los estudiantes se pueden reunir, va a haber más edificios disponibles para nosotros porque la escuela charter se va a ir. Ya nos dijeron que la escuela charter tiene 1 año de estar en nuestro plantel escolar, de ahí se van. Ellos ahorita van a terminar este año escolar, sigue 1 año escolar más que es el 23-24. Cuando terminen eso, ellos necesitan irse y vamos a poner más salones en la porción de abajo de la escuela y esos van a ser mientras hacen la construcción. Esto suena que va a haber mucho movimiento, pero para nosotros es mejor ya no tener a la escuela charter porque vamos a tener todo el plantel escolar para nosotros y no tenemos que compartir recursos. Y eso nos va a ayudar a darles más atención a nuestros estudiantes. Cuando terminen esto, algunas de esas clases se van a quedar aquí, las que son temporarias, y va a haber más lugares de grama y más lugares donde los niños pueden estar. Así de que esa es la actualización que tenemos ahorita sobre lo que es la modernización de la escuela Irving. Okay, I'm going to go now with Ms. Zúñiga. Ms. Zúñiga, su pregunta, por favor.
Sí, está bonito eso que ustedes dicen que en la implementación del nuevo, la modernización, ¿verdad? Bueno, las ideas están bonitas. Gracias a todos por la oportunidad que me dan también de poder hacer preguntas. Mi punto de vista es, en la escuela tienen cámaras de video, porque
No se puede por la privacidad de los niños, no nos deja el distrito.
Pero yo tengo un hijo en la high school y ahí tienen cámaras de video por todos lados y están funcionando. Entonces, pienso que es no solo por seguridad de todos los estudiantes y los maestros, ¿verdad?
No, sí tiene razón. Mr. Roscom, the question is, if her child goes to a high school where they have cameras in the hallways and all that, is that something that we could do? I thought there was a privacy issue with that.
No, they can do that. The parents have to vote on it. We can have the parents vote on it, and if the parents agree to do it and the staff agrees to do it, then we can do it. And then we have to renew that every year. The only area, of course, you can't have them in the bathroom and things like that, where it would be a privacy issue. But in the halls, it's fine. You can put them in the halls. You cannot put them in the classroom. Halls is okay, though. Outside in halls, yes.
Dice que sí pueden tener, sí, es un proceso. Por la privacidad de los estudiantes, todos los padres tienen que votar de que es algo que ellos quieren en los pasillos y afuera del plantel escolar. No pueden haber en las clases ni en los baños, pero sí pueden haber alrededor del plantel escolar y en los pasillos. Cada año después de aprobarlo, tiene que uno renovar el contrato con los padres que van entrando o están todavía en nuestra escuela. Pero sí, si es algo que ustedes quieren, eso es algo que podemos platicar.
Sí, porque para mí pues sería muy importante. Otra cosa que acerca de los comportamientos inadecuados que pasan en la escuela, ¿qué apoyo le están dando ustedes a los estudiantes?
Okay, the question is based on what Ms. Heather brought up of the, or bullying incidents that we've had, what type of support do we give students?
Okay, so that's a great question also. I mean, for example, we have students that have long-term, now that we have a PSW, we have some students that for whatever reason they're having difficulty working with their peers. That's how it's termed. But they often are kids that will bully other students because of slight differences between the two of them, either their ethnic background or their religious background or their sexual orientation. So those students, again, it's a mix of counseling for those students, sometimes short-term with the counselors, conferences with the parents, discipline when it's needed if it continues, restrictions in freedom on the campus so that if they're doing a lot. But we also have a PSW now, and that's what's helpful with that is that some of these students, they need long-term counseling for them to figure out why they're doing it, because it's really an issue of self-esteem. When you're bullying another person, it's because you feel crummy inside. That's why they do it. So they want to try to make somebody else feel crummy inside. So we do have that also going on the campus. And then I told you, we also do the counseling.
So para los estudiantes que están haciendo este comportamiento y también los estudiantes que son las víctimas, lo que se le da es apoyo de nuestra trabajadora social. Y lo que ella hace es les da consejería a los estudiantes para ver por qué, de dónde viene este problema, por qué lo están haciendo o también ayudarle al que ha sido el víctima para que no se sienta que es algo personal. Si esas consejerías no sirven, entonces se escala a buscar consejería fuera de la escuela y eso siempre se lo ofrece gratis al padre o por la aseguranza de que el padre tenga. Pero siempre nosotros nos aseguramos de que cuando son este tipo de comportamiento, de que vean los consejeros y especialmente a nuestra trabajadora social, porque queremos ver qué es lo que está, por qué el estudiante se está comportando así, para ayudarles, para que no sigan este comportamiento negativo.
Some parents a couple parents put in some specific cases. If I would really like you to, because I want to track those down. The couple of parents put in the chat that they're having issues with respect to specific instances of bullying and harassment. Those, if you want to email me or text me or just leave a message, call in probably on Tuesday next week, first thing. We'll track all of those down and we'll bring those kids in that are doing it. The chances are, if they're doing it to your son or daughter, they're doing it to other kids too. And the other thing too is I guarantee it when I have a conference with the parents, and I say there are 5 or 6 kids that are complaining about this student that's saying these, they're saying racial things to other people. The parents are mortified. Most times the parents are mortified. And that is usually stops a lot of it right there.
So, si ustedes saben de algo que está sucediendo, por favor, déjenos saber. Le pueden llamar a él o dejar un mensaje o llamar a la escuela, porque él sí investiga todos estos casos. Él no quiere que los estudiantes estén pasando por eso. Y si un estudiante está acosando a otro, la probabilidad de que está acosando a varios más es grande, así que nosotros queremos llegar al punto para ver qué es lo que está sucediendo. Pero nosotros sí hacemos lo posible para investigar pronto y arreglar el problema.
Sí, otra pregunta, ¿cómo están manejando ustedes? Porque no solo en una escuela, solo en todos. ¿Cómo están manejando ustedes el uso de la marihuana dentro de la escuela? ¿Están poniendo ustedes control de revisión o o cómo lo están manejando ustedes?
How are we addressing any vaping issues or use of marijuana?
I'm strictly enforcing the policy on it. If a student is caught doing it, the first time it starts with counseling and a parent conference the very first time. But if somebody is selling on it, I expel them. Period. And I don't take any prisoners on that. It's an expulsion. And this is explained to the students, and the students know it because I've done it.
Él ha hecho esto bastante porque él lo que no quiere es un problema de drogas aquí en la escuela. So, lo que él hace es de que cuando él se da cuenta de que alguien lo está usando, inmediatamente se le llama a los padres, se les da las consecuencias dependiendo de que si agarraron lo que estaban usando y todo. Ahora, en cuestión de que si lo están vendiendo o lo están dando a otros estudiantes, aunque no haya transferencia de dinero, el señor automáticamente empieza el proceso de expulsión. Ya hemos hecho algunos y él lo hace porque él no quiere ese problema aquí en la escuela. Así de que los estudiantes sepan de que no nada más va a ser te voy a suspender porque estás trayendo esas cosas, sino que pueden ser sacados del distrito. Cuando eso se le explica al padre, ya no se repite las ofensas.
Sí, porque yo tengo entendido que he estado en el comité del distrito y depende pues de cada situación. Lo primero dice, lo último que la escuela hace es expulsar a un estudiante. Tiene que investigar cuál es el estado emocional del estudiante y las maneras de cómo apoyar al estudiante, porque antes sé que los suspendían así por así, pero hoy dijeron, tienen que ver a darle todo el apoyo al estudiante para ver qué pasa y qué se le puede dar para que el estudiante mejore en todo lo que...
Sí, eso se le hace aquí también. Eso es de póliza del distrito. Just repeated the policy of the district, which is that we are supposed to support students in every way, which we do. When they're vaping or we find out they're vaping, we inform parents. And if they do continue it, then that's when suspension comes. But yeah, it's true. We avoid suspension as much as possible, but we do address the issue.
There's a caveat on the selling though. There's no counseling. It's the state law. I agree with it too. If the person is selling on a campus, it's an automatic expulsion recommendation. That doesn't mean that it'll go through, but because often but the principal is supposed to do an automatic expulsion. It's more difficult than that because I have to present the case and I have to have enough evidence to do that. But I do investigate those cases, and I do make recommendations. Every year it comes up.
Sí, sí se les da todo el apoyo y sí están esas reglas, pero cuando un niño está vendiendo, no tiene que uno no tiene que ni dar consejería, puede automáticamente meter expulsión, porque eso es una ley del estado. Si el estudiante está vendiendo, se tiene que meter todo el papeleo porque está vendiendo contrabando. And it is important that you do talk to your children and tell them, hey, if they're offering you candy and you didn't see them open the bag, even if it's another child, they shouldn't take it. It's just right now with what's happening with fentanyl and all these different, the way they're the edibles and all that. We always tell our students don't, but it's also good that they hear it from home. If you're smelling this really sweet scents and you don't know where they're coming from, get on their backpacks, start checking their backpacks, check their sweaters, check everything, because vaping is an epidemic. We've talked to students. I know Ms. Karen has brought many different presenters, and they make it fun when they're presenting these things and give them prices, but it's really important to be aware. Mr. Roscom always surprises me when he shows me something that like a vape pen. Like I didn't even know that was a vape pen because they don't look like that. And so just make sure you are speaking to your children about not just taking food from anybody or even their friends, and just being more aware. And if they see something, they should report it. We're so lucky that our students, sometimes they report it thinking it's a vape pen. It's actually just a flash drive, but it's better to be aware and share, and so we can just double check, because we want to keep the school the way it is. We have a nice, I always say it's a nice little private public school because it's a small school, and we really want to keep it safe for our students, because we do have a great students, but just talk to them about not vaping and staying away from eating whatever it is someone else gives them. Es importante que hablen con sus niños también por todo lo que está pasando con las drogas y con estos equipos de vape que son tan fáciles de usar. Es importante que ustedes también hablen con ellos de no nada más agarrar comida. Si no han visto que el niño o el amigo abre el paquete, que no agarren dulces de ellos, porque lo que pasa es que, I'm almost done, come here. Lo que pasa es de que uno no sabe qué es lo que traen. Así que nosotros se lo aconsejamos, pero si también ustedes les pueden recordar de que no nada más agarren la comida de cualquier cosa. Okay. Thank you. Muchas gracias por su pregunta.
What? There's another question. Oh, good. I'm sorry.
No, do you see it? Because I don't see any other question here.
Never
Oh,
mind.
the uniforms. The uniform question. Ms. Flores, Rochelle asked a great question. Can students start wearing shorts? Yes. Students can wear skirts, shorts, pants, as long as they're black. You know, like the uniform material, they can wear it, especially with this heat wave. Now, another thing you want to tell your child is not to wear their sweater if it's getting hot. It's a middle school thing. They love to wear it, but we recommend they don't when it gets really hot. But we can't force them to take it off. We'll have parents say, hey, my kids, it's really, just tell them that if it gets hot to please take them off. But yeah, they can wear shorts definitely. Sí pueden usar chores negros para en la escuela. We want to thank everybody for coming. If you have any questions for Mr. Roscom or for us, we'll stick around. But thank you for being here. We had a good turnout. We were afraid we were not going to get enough. Our next coffee with the principal is May 5th at 10 a.m. En nuestro próximo café con el director es el 5 de mayo. Así que los esperamos por Zoom a las 10 de la mañana. Gracias por venir. Si tienen algunas preguntas, se pueden quedar. Y Mr. Roscom y yo les contestamos su pregunta. Muchas gracias. Have a nice 3-day weekend. Tengan un buen 3 días libres. Mr. Roscom, do your Go Bears, and we'll stick around for questions.
Next meeting, I'll show you some of their drawings for their rough diagrams for the rooms and stuff like that for the modernization project. I think you'll enjoy it. All right, go Bears! Yeah! Woo!
Muchas gracias. Thank you.
Sorry.
That's a good one. It didn't cut you off. The little mic didn't cut you off. I like it.
Good one.